voters in the state of Iowa will begin caucusing for who they believe should be the Republican candidate for President of the United States. And I believe that this is an important decision. Um, Let me just say this first of all, that President Barack Obama's economic policies of big spending, big government, more regulations, spending to stimulate the economy, and of class warfare have clearly not worked. His illegal and ill-conceived healthcare plan has hurt American families and businesses alike. It's hurt our general economy. More people are in poverty. More people are on food stamps. More people are unemployed, and there is more debt today than the day Barack Obama took office. His miserable leadership and his failures on a series of policy fronts, I think, are issues that should be in the minds of every voter when they vote in this Republican primary, whether they be Republicans, Independents, or Democrats crossing over. So I think that should be in the forefront of everybody's mind. But I think that it's also important for Republicans and Independents to make a choice in the Republican primary. And this is what I think the state of the race is. I think that it is a distinct possibility that Congressman Ron Paul will win the Iowa caucus. I think that is a distinct possibility. And let me just say this, that I've never liked Ron Paul. I think he stands for everything that this country stands against. He is the most anti-American and unpatriotic presidential candidate since Pat Buchanan in 1996, David Duke in 1992, and George Wallace in 1972. I think Ron Paul simply does not love his country. I think he should resign from the Congress and admit to the American people that he does not love his country. He should take his son with him and they should go move abroad somewhere where they could actually appreciate the place they live in rather than staying here and bashing our great country. So I think that it is a distinct possibility that Congressman Paul will take his anti-American message to Iowa, and unfortunately, some people in Iowa will vote for him because the majority of the votes will be divided between other candidates who are not anti-American, and they will, in effect, unfortunately, Congressman Paul will be able to benefit from the divide. The majority of people, obviously, across this country love this country, and unfortunately, Congressman Paul might benefit from the pro-American, the patriotic vote going to the other candidates, while the anti-American vote goes to him. But it's really not that big of a deal because Pat Buchanan won the New Hampshire primary in 1996 only to lose the Republican nomination. So I don't think it's a big deal. Ron Paul won't be the nominee. Caucusing on behalf of Ron Paul is really just a waste of a vote. And the Ron Paul supporters would just be disappointed when their candidate is not the nominee. Now, if by some miracle I'm wrong, because frankly I've been wrong about Ron Paul even being able to compete in Iowa, if I'm wrong and he does end up as the nominee, then likely President Obama will win in a landslide. I wouldn't be surprised if he won 60% of the popular vote and God knows how many electoral votes, but President Obama would win in a landslide if Ron Paul is the Republican nominee because people love this country. The majority of Americans love this country, and when people realize that Ron Paul is anti-American, they would not vote for him. Now, the choice in other states, though, in the rest of the country, really is down to Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich. Mitt Romney's a good man. He has some good ideas. He's accomplished, but I think that there are two issues that I really have with him in this campaign, and I've discussed them before. His tax cut proposal, in my view, is too small, and I don't agree with his trade policy with regards to simply just coming out and naming China a currency manipulator without even negotiating with them. I think you have to negotiate with countries before starting a trade war, which is really not beneficial to either of our economies. So I disagree with Mitt Romney on those two issues. And I wish Governor Romney would stop negative attacks. I wish he would stop going negative and focus on the issues, because the real opponent in this campaign is Barack Obama and his stubborn left-wing ideological friends in Congress. That is who the real enemy, the real opponent is in this campaign. We need to have an American election in which we have distinct differences between Barack Obama and the Republican nominee based on issues, not personalities. Mitt Romney needs to stop going negative and needs to tell the super PACs to do the same. Stop with the negative attacks and the nonsense. Speaker Gingrich is running a positive campaign. He's running a campaign based on ideas, how to revive our economy, how to get our fiscal house in order, how to defend our country, how to transform the direction of this country. Uh, Mitt Romney would undo a lot of the damage that President Obama has done. He put in place some good policies. But if you really want to transform the direction of government and this country for the better, Newt Gingrich should be your candidate. Both Gingrich and Romney have been able to accomplish things. Both of them would be able to win in an election against President Obama. Both of them love their country. Both of them are good people. The difference is Mitt Romney would make some changes to government, but unfortunately, he still represents some of the status quo, for he is the establishment candidate. Newt Gingrich represents the grassroots movement, the some more traditional Reagan Republicans, if you will, and the Tea Party. He would bring really generational changes. He would really transform the direction of government in this country. So I think the choice for Republicans is if they want just general change, or if they want to transform the direction of this country. Either Newt Gingrich or Mitt Romney would be good presidents. The difference, in my view, is that Mitt Romney would be a good president, whereas Newt Gingrich would be a great president. Both of them can win against Barack Obama if they play their cards right. Both of them would be better presidents than Barack Obama. Now, I'm sure that Governor Romney is going to win New Hampshire. He has the support of the establishment in that state as well as in Washington, D.C. Governor Romney is going to win New Hampshire. And Speaker Gingrich is going to have to compete with Governor Romney in Michigan, in Nevada. I think that his chances in Florida are pretty good. But let me make this very clear. South Carolina is Gingrich country. Newt Gingrich will win the South Carolina primary. I'm predicting right here, right now, that Speaker Newt Gingrich will win South Carolina. When it's all said and done, I think he'll compete with Governor Romney on Super Tuesday. Polls in New York, California, and Virginia have recently showed Newt Gingrich as the front runner. Newt Gingrich still remains the front runner nationally. Sure, his lead has been reduced. This is a lot like the 2000 election between George W. Bush and John McCain. It's close, and one of them will probably win different primaries in different states early on, and then probably take the nomination as the contest goes forward. I think that for conservatives, though, there is a clear choice between Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich. Now, this is abundantly clear when you have all the establishment figures endorsing Mitt Romney, but yet the conservative New Hampshire Union leader, as well as former conservative Republican Congressman J.C. Watts, both endorsing Newt Gingrich. Now, I'm sure that Herman Cain, the former CEO of Godfather's Pizza and presidential candidate who's a favorite amongst the Tea Party, will probably endorse Speaker Gingrich. That will help him with conservatives. And who knows, we might get the endorsement of former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who would help Gingrich with moderates and independents. And I think that would be, both of those endorsements, if they occur, would be a big boost to the campaign and almost make up for Governor Chris Christie's endorsement of Mitt Romney. That was a pretty big deal. I think that the J.C. Watts endorsement certainly, I think, counters the Nikki Haley endorsement for the Romney campaign, but I think that we need to get Herman Cain or Rudy Giuliani on board, or both, preferably. But listen, I think Newt Gingrich is still in this race. He's the front runner right now. He doesn't have that lead in Iowa. There's no doubt about it. He has an obstacle to overcome in Iowa. And Mitt Romney is pretty much sealed up New Hampshire. But as I said before, South Carolina is Gingrich country. I like his chances in Florida, and he will compete in Nevada and Michigan.